Legislating discrimination and fueling hate, the new report on the number of anti-LGBTQ plus bills that are being considered in the United States. And leaving home behind, I talk with Proud Radio host and Tennessean Hunter Kelly about his decision to change his address out of fear of his state's political climate. Welcome to Advocate Today. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist. 3 people are facing charges in connection with dozens of robberies at New York City gay nightclubs. Police have identified the suspects as Robert DeMaio, Jacob Barroso, and Andre Butts. Police say the suspects targeted people in the gay bars to steal their phones, credit cards, and personal information. DeMaio and Barroso are also charged with second-degree murder in the 2022 deaths of 2 gay men, Julio Ramirez and John Umberger, in Manhattan's Hell's Kitchen neighborhood. There have been at least 417 anti-LGBTQ+ bills in state legislations this year, and according to the ACLU, that's a new record. The total already doubles the number of similar bills introduced last year. Over 283 education-related bills have been put forward. Access to gender-affirming care is on the chopping block in many places, along with book bans and speech restrictions. Drag performances are also being attacked nationwide following Tennessee's decision to effectively ban them from the state. 24 of the 400-plus bills have been signed into law in 11 states so far. A Tennessee judge is extending the temporary block on the recently passed anti-drag law. The law is on hold until May 26th. A Memphis-based organization is challenging the law in court, but still some LGBTQ+ Tennesseans are packing up and leaving the state altogether. I spoke with Proud Radio host Hunter Kelly about his decision to leave Nashville, the community's efforts to be heard, and more. Hi, welcome Hunter Kelly, host of Proud Radio. Thank you for joining me here today.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me. I've read The Advocate for years, so this is a real thrill.
Good. Well, thank you again. Would you first begin by talking a little bit about Proud Radio and what you do there?
So Proud Radio came about in 2020 when Apple Music launched their country station. And so we highlight LGBTQ country artists and Americana artists. And at first I wasn't really sure that I would find a lot. When we started, we were doing 2 hours a month of programming. And what I found very quickly was that there were so many artists already out there making country music, LGBTQ country artists. And over time, it has just grown and grown.
You are based in Tennessee, and their, drag performances and gender-affirming care for trans youth are under attack by conservatives. And I wonder, would you talk a little bit about how the community is feeling at this moment?
I'll be honest. It's not great, and it's really been hard to see Tennessee lead the way. I mean, I think it really helps to understand that these anti-LGBTQ measures from the right are coming from think tanks. They are coming from organizations like the Heritage Foundation, so that when we go and sit in our legislative body here in Tennessee when they are debating these laws, the people from the right, they are just regurgitating the same talk points that they have been given, because these are not real issues. Like, these are not affecting people's lives. It really is all about just trying to, find something to make people scared, to try to make the conservative base scared. And so it's really incredible to see these people. A lot of them have moved here in the last 2 years. I would say 2 to 3 years. Several of them, but it's been really scary. The situation here in Nashville, especially, has been pretty dire. We did have 2 benefit concerts last month. We had Love Rising at Bridgestone Arena, raised a bunch of money. Brandy Carlisle's organization, the Looking Out Foundation, handled all the money. We had a lot of great artists. We got so much great press, and really that show got the word out that all of this was going on in Tennessee.
You and your husband have built your lives there, and now you are talking about leaving.
We
Uh,
are, yeah, we are in the process of moving.
yeah.
We are going to a more progressive city.
Mhm.
It's partly for my husband's work and
Mhm.
partly for just some changes I want to make. But it really has been a breaking point for me. Like to be here and just be 41 years old, almost 42, and to have lived my entire life in the South, to see us having to fight these battles again, and it being actually, I came out in 2005, so this is actually the worst that it's ever been for anti-LGBTQ rhetoric
Yeah.
that I've seen since I've been out. And I just, once you start to look at, like, okay, I have friends in politics here in Tennessee who say we are at least a decade from coming out of this right wing turn that we're in. Like, looking at that, from my personal experience, I'm like, I don't want to spend the next decade of my life
Right.
living here in this fear, because ultimately, after a while, I have to look at, like, how it affects my nervous system,
Sure.
how it affects my mental health. I think part of me thinks that's the point for the state of Tennessee, that they do want to drive LGBTQ people out of the state.
I wanted to touch on the industry though, because you brought
Hmm.
that up a little bit, the music industry, and um, there are so many people who are real allies at this point. We're seeing, people like Maren Morris and Kelsey
Hmm.
Ballerini, I mean,
Hmm.
straight allies, Jason Isbell, stand up
Hmm.
for LGBTQ plus people, and of course, Love Rising, as you mentioned, really did bring attention to this
Hmm.
issue. What do you think the industry can continue to do to fight back against these attacks on LGBTQ plus people? And do you think if people say, like a Brandy Carlisle, like, God, I would love it. I don't know if she'd ever get there, but like a Dolly Parton,
Hmm.
start to pull out of events in Tennessee and Nashville
Hmm.
because of these things? Would that be helpful?
Would it be helpful? Well, I think that what I am seeing that's encouraging to me is artists who, after the fact, um, after we did Love Rising, and then the next night I did a local show at City Winery here with more of the artists that I've played on Proud Radio,
Mhm.
and artists with Black Opry, which is a collective of Black country artists here based in Nashville. And I gave everything I had to those. Like, I mean, I did a lot of press, I did a lot of interviews, and really just felt like I had done all I could. And so to see artists like Kelsey Ballerini, at the CMT Awards,
Mhm.
where she hosted, having drag queens on stage with her at a country show, that's encouraging. To see Reba McEntire speak up in a Los Angeles Times interview last
Mhm.
week, I mean, it really is. It's encouraging to see people taking that up and continuing the conversation, because a lot of us LGBTQ people who've been living in this for a while, you reached a point of exhaustion. So we really do appreciate our allies who have stood with us before.
Mhm.
And there are many other artists here in Nashville who have had a drag queen in their video, or done queer press before, that are kind of still silent. And I would
Mhm.
point to what Reba McEntire said in her interview with the Los Angeles Times, because she did it in a way where it was like, absolutely, no, this is not political. It's standing up for human beings, and these human beings who have, in Reba's case, you've been a big part of. I mean, she toured with the drag queen in 1996. The first drag queen I ever saw was on stage with Reba McEntire. It was
Wow.
a gag they did for her song Fancy.
Yeah.
And so I had Reba on Proud Radio in October of 2021, when her box set came out. I'd written the liner notes for that box set, and we really were able to celebrate her queer fan base.
Thank you so much to Hunter for stopping by and providing perspective on the situation in Tennessee. You can catch Hunter on Proud Radio, available on Apple Music. We're continuing to monitor the anti-LGBTQ+ attacks across the country. Stay up to date with us on the Advocate Channel YouTube page or online at advocatechannel.com. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist, and I'll see you next time.